Stand by. The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up.
Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
He got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that builds Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants aren't getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocado Diablius asked if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? That's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Somnambule Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't have to think of it.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people, and the Biden administration over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing. Mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens. You cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs. but not convicted rapist. The German court gives woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate it when people say rapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man, too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor, but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible and converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching, quote, I was a follower of the sword, now I'm a follower of the cross. Amazing. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black supporter, Trump supporter, would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to sic the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond company. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted nothing to do.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 15, 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think the kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is supposed to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether it's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. one, that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only PDawgKnight.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as PDawgKnight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we talk about the news, daily stuff happening right now. And boy, oh boy, there's something happening right now that I don't know that I was ready for, but because I didn't actually think it would happen. Apparently Don Lemon's been arrested. Oh, are we happy about that? That's some tepid response. We'll talk about that briefly because I don't know a lot of details other than what's on X, the app formerly known as Twitter. You know, where you get breaking news every day. So, but yeah, it's also Free for All Friday and Friday Q&A. And we're going to talk about the fake winery. Well, fake, virtual, I don't know. I don't want to jump the gun. There may be something I don't know, but the internet sleuths have figured out maybe this couple right here, there was the congresswoman with the white husband, the evil white husband, because, you know, she believes that the greatest danger to America is white males, and she's married to one.
You're fucking a white male!
Literally. Anyway, so that's a big story too. So there's a lot going on. We'll get to it as soon as we say hi to everybody and get this damn thing started. First in the chat today, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Ding! Thank you, sir, for being here. And what a great... a great loyal watcher of the show he is, and I appreciate you more than you know, sir. Good morning also, Kara Soldier, Mike Savage, Blarg, the Unholy Queen, aka Midnight, our young friend, HP Lovecraft in the house. What's up? Don Lemon is locked down. 2026 feels like the inversion of 2020. It's getting much weirder from here. What a January. It is getting kind of weird. Also, good morning, Somnambule Nation. Johnny Boomer Tex in the house, of course, because that's his job. Anon, 1, 2, 3, is here. Good morning. Also, did I see, let's see, Zach Osborne, what up? Also, good morning, too. That's me. Attack Alpaca, hi, and, they're slowly coming in. Big Dave 1066. All right, that's everyone who's in the chat so far. I'm going to unexpand this so I can see everything else going on here. There we go. And as people come in, we'll say hi. But until then, I'm going to just go ahead and get this damn thing started. Now, I did forget. What did I forget? Like I do every day, the damn holiday calendar. So we'll figure out what the holiday is. But we do know that it's Friday, which means it's Red Friday, which is why I'm wearing red today. And celebrating Red Friday. Well, celebrating. I don't know if it's the word celebrating. It's a day to remember that we have people deployed all over the world. There's a carrier group going into the Middle East. We got Okinawa. We got bases all over the world. Remember everyone deployed and pray for their safety and tranquility. Good morning, Liberty Vet, by the way. Good morning. So yeah, it's Red Friday. Today is Red Friday. Remember everyone deployed until they come home. And oh, wait a minute. I don't think she's wearing pants. She's got a top on, but can I get in trouble for this? I don't know. I can't tell if I don't think she's wearing pants. I'm going to have to, let me investigate this. No, she's not. We're not going to let her be seen. But here, let's get right to here. There. I'm not going to show it. I'd be in trouble. Red Friday, remember everyone deployed. As I'm scrolling through this, Rise and Shine, Buttercups, TGIF, it's Red Friday. I am so thankful for all the armed forces and LEOs. Who's going to see the movie Melania this weekend? I don't think I'm going to. None of the Evening Post went through Woke up to several unsent messages, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, that's what Red Friday is all about. And with pants on, though, you gotta wear pants. And the problem is, like, you can't really see anything because the angle she's at, except you kind of can tell that she's not wearing pants, and because you might see a pube or two there, which is that's refreshing. Yeah, I guess. I don't know about that. Anyway, a little bit too much information. Also, let's celebrate the holidays that are going on right now. It is National Croissant Day. Now, I didn't know how to say it like that, but, if you go to France and you say it wrong, the frogs will get mad at you. So it is National Croissant Day. Also, National Draw a Dinosaur Day. Get your kids to draw a dinosaur. It's Husband Day. Woo! By the way, the coffee's brought to you by Big Daddy. That's me. That's one of my nicknames. That was my nickname when I was a bartender at TGI Fridays. Everyone called me Big Daddy. Yo, Big Daddy, can I get a drink? Because I was a big and I was a daddy. National Fun at Work Day. Yodel for your neighbors. Yodel-hee-hoo. National Escape Day. Martyrs Day. Oh, I thought it said Marty's Day. No, that would be me. But no, it's Martyrs Day. Honor the brave, remember their sacrifices. Okay. And School Day of Nonviolence and Peace. That should be every day. You hope that for everybody. So there's the holiday calendar today. There you go. Also, I see the Pope is here. Good morning, Pope Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich, with today's message of hope. Not from the Father, not from the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. And today's message is: blessing of the Holy Ghost. Remember to grant those that have trespassed against you forgiveness, as you ask those that you trespassed against the same. What a great message. A great message of hope. Good morning, tall person's here. Good morning. What's up? All right, let's get into it real quick because there's a lot to talk about. And then one celebrity news, and this is kind of sad if you know anything about football or a football fan, or even if you don't, you probably know the name Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz has gone into hospice. He's in his last days, maybe even hours. People are saying, please join me in lifting Coach Lou Holtz and his family in prayer during this tender time. Lou Holtz has impacted countless lives through his faith, leadership, and example far beyond the football field. As he enters hospice care, may he be surrounded by peace, comfort, and the deep knowledge of how loved and appreciated he is. Praying for strength and comfort for his family and gratitude for a legacy that will live on forever. And a little green hearts and a little shamrock for meaning Notre Dame. I wasn't sure that he was still alive, but there you go. Yes, he's a legendary figure, whether or not just for football, but so everyone keep Lou Holtz and his family in your prayers. Let's get to the big news though that's breaking right now, or at least this morning. Don Lemon trending high right now because apparently he's been arrested. Just announced Good Friday, former CNN journalist Don Lemon arrested by federal agents in L.A., and this person says FAFO. Don Lemon's attorney, Abby Lowell, confirms Lemon was taken into federal custody in Los Angeles Thursday night. And
to a Fox News alert, journalist Don Lemon.
Can we get the whole? There we go. I was trying to want to see the whole page.
And to a Fox News alert, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota.
By the way, I was not expecting this at all. I know that some magistrate judge kind of was against this or whatever. Good morning, JV, by the way. And so I don't know. I just I didn't think it would happen. This is going to be a tough one because, are they going to say? Look, first of all, any jury you get in Minnesota is probably going to acquit everyone involved with that church protest. And I just want to remind them, if that happens, I can see people going and protesting in other houses of worship and disturbing their services, or so to speak, or they're called to prayer. You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of people say, "Oh, this is fashion. They're being fascist," but I don't think you can go into someone's private property and disrupt their whatever they're doing. If someone came in and let's take Ilhan Omar's town hall, for example. Had that guy even gotten up and just started yelling at her and did not spray her with they say it's apple cider vinegar too. Did not spray her with apple cider vinegar, but just got up and started yelling, screaming, right? Do you think he would have been arrested? Of course he would have, because he's not just protesting. He's in a private gathering and taking away their rights to have their private gathering. So whether it's a church service or just, a swim team meeting, if you go up in there and start protesting, you will get arrested because you're not supposed to be there. So anyway, let's...
Now with more on this breaking news. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, Charlie, good morning to you. Our colleague David Spunt and I getting this breaking news from multiple law enforcement
sources.
Good
question, Zach.
Minutes ago, confirming that former CNN anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles just after midnight this morning at a hotel. This obviously all in connection with storming of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota by that group of anti-ICE agitators. Now remember, the feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to a judge above him. He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant.
So who signed off on it?
Experts who are predicting that perhaps the feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles by federal agents just after midnight Los Angeles time at a hotel. Now, typically...
Okay, I'm going to predict this right now. And regardless of how any trial for this will go, Don Lemon will be acquitted. And that's all there is to it. But I do think perhaps some of the other people will not. Zach made a good point. Wonder why they didn't add kidnapping and false imprisonment. The witnesses said they were prevented from leaving or going downstairs to get their kids. That's true. That's probably the bigger problem that group has. They do have some issues with not allowing people to go anywhere, and especially not allowing the kids upstairs and screaming and yelling in kids' faces. That's the big problem. But anyway.
Standard procedure with an arrest like this is
Notice how there was no news crew in tow to film it like they did with Roger Stone. For Don Lemon's arrest. Yeah, I was thinking about that too when they, who was it they arrested recently? Oh, just those people, the people from that church group. They didn't have the news crew along with them. People filming it themselves got video of it, but no CNN crew. Anyway,
defendant will likely make their first court appearance sometime the same day, so there's a chance we may see Don Lemon make his.
This may actually get thrown out of court too immediately. I'm just saying. It'll be interesting. This will be interesting.
First court appearance in Los Angeles sometime today, but obviously this is going to grab all sorts of headlines. 3 other protesters from that church storming, have already been arrested, including who the feds say was the organizer of that protest, the woman in the middle there.
This guy's got some nice hair, doesn't he? Wow, that's some amazing hair. I just noticed how. Look at that hair! Holy shit! I don't know. See, I have a friend from college who really loves his own hair. And this guy's hair looked like that guy's. That's some serious hair. Anyway,
is a school board member in St. Paul, and then the mugshot on the right is an online personality / agitator, if you want to call him that. He's known as Dawg Farmer,
and he's not even from Minneapolis. And he's the one who is screaming in a child's face. That's not going to be good for him.
Arrested, but we have confirmed that Don Lemon has now been arrested in Los Angeles in connection with that viral incident. We all saw the video of it that spread and drew widespread condemnation.
I saw you what you wrote there. I see you. I saw what you wrote there. Watch it, bub.
The feds have been going after these people on FACE Act violations. So this is still breaking news. Once we get more details about...
All right, enough of that report. I don't know why I'm playing the whole thing because it's unnecessary. So what else do you put up in here? Let's see. Don Lemon crying.
Watch this guy here. Look, he's hugging his kid. And, you know, I've imagined it's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here. But again, careful. It's very slippery right here. Yeah. It's uncomfortable and traumatic for the people here, but that's what really, careful, please, really slippery.
Yeah, I bet being arrested is uncomfortable too, Don.
That's what protesting is about. And so,
yeah, no, not on someone else's property, though. Statement from Abby Lowell, attorney for Don Lemon. Don Lemon was taken into custody by federal agents last night in Los Angeles, where he was covering the Grammy Awards. Don has been a journalist for 30 years, and his constitutionally protected work in Minneapolis was no different than what he has always done. The First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role it is to shine light on truth and hold those in power accountable. There's no more important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minneapolis protesters. Oh, you see, you got to change the subject. The Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of a wrongdoing in this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don Lemon will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. He'll be... You know what? I think this is a bad idea by the administration. Yes, and look, not that I don't think Don Lemon deserves it. That I don't think he clearly was part of it. He wasn't, while he's supposedly covering it. He lied to the public by saying, well, I just happened upon this protest. I didn't do anything about it. When clearly he was with the organization as they were doing it. He knew exactly where to go. This was not random journalisming. He was a part of it. But anyway, someone says, I've been a journalist for 26 years, but I didn't storm a church and disrupt and harass Americans, preventing them from worshiping because I wanted to grift doing activism for criminals. So anyway, yeah. And a lot of people are mad about it. Under the order of Trump, clearly. What a bunch of fascist bastards. Look, does that mean we can go protest in a mosque tomorrow? We're gonna go to down in Minneapolis, and you know there's a perception that there's a lot of fraud among a certain population. So we're gonna go to one of their mosques in the middle of like second prayer of the day. We're gonna go there and we're gonna pretend to be praying, but then all of a sudden we're all gonna get up and start screaming and yelling, "You are a bunch of fraudsters, and you are this and that," and we have the First Amendment right to protest inside of your mosque. If a jury hears those words, there's no way they can't convict these people of what they're facing. No pun intended, FACE Act. So, anyway, pulling up to work knowing that Don Lemon is in a jail cell. What? I can't play the music though. So anyway, Don Lemon is the former CNN host faces federal charges, including conspiracy against rights and the FACE Act violation for allegedly participating in an anti-ICE protest that stormed the city's church. They can stop using the storm language. They didn't actually storm the city church. They just kind of pretended to go in to be worshiping, and then they completely disrupted it as planned and stopped the service and shut down the service. And in fact, they were proud of the fact that they shut it down. We shut this shit down, they were yelling. So yeah, they did do that. So anyway, so those threads are out there. Let's do this real quick. I got to thank you, some of you here, for, oh my goodness, what the hell is that? Sharing the stream. Let's start down here with, Sound Noble Nation, thank you as always, sharing the stream. And there's a little heart there, and appreciate it. And then happy Friday, yeah, thanks CG, with a little Betty White yelling happy Friday, of course. And then Some Dumbo Nation with tired of political posts. Here's boobs and beer. Okay, boobs and beer. There you go. And we'll just repost that. And then, oh wow, what is this? Let's go. 88 miles per hour in a DeLorean. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Thank you, JB. That's some good. That's a good work there. That except for the arms are a little too hairy. My arms aren't quite that hairy, but other than that, I like that little AI picture. And then here we go. Look, Mom. Oh no! This is I should not have laughed at that. I should not laugh at that. Some Double Nation. Not tired of political posts. Then here you go. Look, Mom. No hands. I'm reluctant to repost that. But if you're dumb enough to grab a flashbang off the ground, then you are holy shit. Anyway, also thank you, Midnight, sharing the post, Tyre Alexander, the Daily Woo, Ric Flair, and what else we got? Tall Person, thank you for sharing the show. And that no hands one has me reeling a little bit. I'm just like, should I have reposted that or not? Simon Wilkins, thank you. You probably won't believe what the last photos I took in this series was. Was it a circle? These are all look like bullets. What are those bullets or shotgun shells? What the hell is that? Oh, no, they're batteries. Triangle, square, pentagon, and some sort of trap. Oh, that's a hexagon. Is that 6 sides? Yeah, it's a hexagon. So then the next one must be a quintagon. Is that what you call it? What do you call septagon? Seven sides would be a septagon. So there you go. I'm assuming that that's what it is. And then you also posted show, so I'm going to repost that. Thank you. And then some anime shit here going on. Let's go. Thank you, Simon Wilkins. And Reaction Puerto Rico, sharing the show with another Chris Cuomo. Look, yeah, I had to put Chris Cuomo up there because, you know, that's Don's buddy, but not what you would probably come up with in the next line. All right, let's get some more news going here. Thanks everyone for sharing the stream. Appreciate it. Let's do some headlines. Legal insurrection has a couple good ones. Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? Hakeem the Turnip Jeffries said Noem needs to be put on ice permanently. Dude, and the subheadline for this is phrasing. So the Turnip decided to open his mouth about Kristi Noem. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries went off on DH Secretary Kristi Noem, and it went as well as you can imagine. The Turnip. Here, let me. Let's just play it because you have to hear it to believe it. I hope this is the right one. Yes, here it is. He's. Hang on. Let's post this. All right, here we go. This is dangerous, violent rhetoric, if you ask me.
She should have never been confirmed. Shame on every Republican in the Senate who put this wildly unqualified person into a position of significance in the Department of Homeland Security so she could unleash brutalization on everyday Americans, American citizens, and law-abiding immigrant families. It's disgraceful. She's got to go. We are dead serious. She needs to be put on ice permanently. She's got to go.
By the way, good morning, Simon Wilkins, Ergo Time Grouper Police, and Reaction Puerto Rico, and Annalyn. What's up? Nice to see you. You know, you got to be careful how you say shit. And by the way, I don't disagree that Kristi Noem should be fired. I think she should be fired, or at least resign. By the way, good morning, Evan S. Now, someone says they want to believe that Jeffries used ICE as a play on words, since the hoopla nowadays centers around Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, perfect case for an English major. But do you remember idioms? People use them every day. It's an expression that has a different meaning from its literal meaning. Bark up the wrong tree. No pain, no gain. Hit the road. Those are idioms. Put on ice is also an idiom, which means to delay, stop, or postpone something or an activity. Oh, or kill somebody. Or I guess someone from a certain action or job, even though I've never heard anyone using the person as a subject for the idiom to put on ice. But man, Jeffries fell flat because ice is also a symbol of death. There's a slang to ice somebody or icing someone, which means to murder someone. Language matters more today because we live in a hot political atmosphere. And I know politicians want a soundbite to get on TV or even sound cool and hip, but let's think before we speak. Or share photos. Oh, speaking of that, well, I'll get to it in a second. Well, I will. Is it the next one? Yeah, the next one. Dick Durbin, the appropriately named Dick Durbin, senator from Illinois. Is he from Illinois? I think he is. He used. Did I show you that fake? Well, I know you've seen it. The fake AI picture of Alec Preddy shooting the fake one. Dick Durbin used it on the Senate floor. No one in his staff noticed that one of the ICE agents was missing his head. And I made a joke about this the other day. I said, I see he's getting shot in the head, but he did a beheading on one of the ICE agents, so he deserved it, which I don't think he deserved to be shot. Let me just make that clear right now. But in this photo, this ICE agent has no head. Dick Durbin used a fake AI photo of the Alex Preddy shooting on the Senate floor to condemn the Trump administration's actions in Minnesota. Not kidding. I am on the Senate floor to condemn the killing of U.S. citizens at the hands of federal immigration officers and demand the Trump administration take accountability for its actions. But again, this agent has no head. I blew it scream. How did anyone on staff not notice this? First thing I noticed was the agent with no head. How do you miss it when you blow up the photo? Then again, the staff probably knows that nothing matters or anything that comes from after won't gain traction. The first part, whether it's news or photos, always goes viral, while any corrections or people pointing out the misinformation lurk in the background. I don't know if I want to know if anyone noticed this. That's what I want to know. How did you not notice that one of the agents in the picture doesn't have a head? No head, no backstage pass. Oh! Yes. So anyway, yeah, Dick Durbin, complete moron. By the way, apparently the government will not be shutting down. There was some talk that there would be a fight over ICE funding. Well, the Senate has struck a deal to fund government, averting a shutdown. The U.S. Senate struck a deal to fund the government on Thursday, averting a partial government shutdown as the midterm elections loom large. Senate Democrats and Republicans agreed to split the bill funding the Department of Homeland Security off from a minibus package of 5 other major funding bills per the Hill. The Senate will instead move a stopgap bill known as a continuing resolution. Yay. That will fund DHS at current levels until February 13th. Well, here's the thing about that, though. I thought ICE was already funded through 2029 anyway. I thought they already did that. So I don't know how they can, I'm not sure what they can do. Anyway, they haggled over the length of this continuing resolution, with Democrats insisting on the 2-week version that won out. Republicans sought a 6-week continuing resolution. What the fuck good does that do? Other than postpone the inevitable bullshit that they usually do. Hello, Seagull Gunner, by the way. Anyway, so that's yippee-ki-yay. By the way, also, speaking of Minnesota, a Minnesota man has been arrested for posing as an FBI agent in a plot to free none other than that dickbag, Luigi Mangione. Mark Anderson, a 36-year-old man from Mankato, Minnesota, was arrested at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn on Wednesday evening after allegedly impersonating a Federal Bureau of Investigation agent. Anderson claimed he had a court order to release Luigi Mangione who's accused of assassinating, it's on tape, of assassinating United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. According to the criminal complaint, Anderson presented a Minnesota driver's license when asked for credentials and carried a bag containing a barbecue fork and a pizza cutter. What the fuck? And he was heard asking, hey, you got a grill around here? Anderson, who also displayed and threw at the BOP officers numerous documents, an FBI agent wrote in the federal criminal complaint, adding, quote, I reviewed those papers and they appear to be related to filing of claims against the United States Department of Justice. The 36-year-old man is charged with impersonating a federal agent and is set up to appear in Brooklyn federal court. If it was Thursday, what would we be saying right now, ladies and gentlemen? Fuck that guy. Also, apparently CNN had a town hall in Minnesota. And apparently, as usual, it was full of... There's supposed to be a neutral town hall. They just had some random people, right? Well, apparently, they had a bunch of leftist and Democrat donors. See it. This is CNN, basement-rated far-left propaganda outlet. This is John Nolte. He has a flair for words. This is CNN, a basement-rated far-left propaganda outlet that spreads conspiracy theories and encourages political violence, hosted another one of its infamously rigged town halls Wednesday night, this one about the Confederate state of Minnesota. So you can see, Nolte is a little salty right now. Like all decent people, I don't watch CNN. In fact, CNN has become such a non-entity in the news cycle, which is what happens when you become a leftist talk radio with pictures. I hardly feel the need to pay attention to CNN for work anymore. CNN is a non-player. If a lie falls in the forest and no one hears it, ... Anyway, I did look at the transcript of the town hall, and it was exactly what I expected. Every single screened-in advance question came from an ISIS evil and out-of-control premise. I've copied the questions below so you can see for yourself. So here's some of the questions they asked at this CNN town hall. Quote, should we not follow federal law? Why aren't you at least turning criminals over to ICE? Oh, that's a good fucking question. Why would you release violent criminals into our neighborhood? These were supposed to be. These are the questions that they should have asked. No wonder. I'm like, these sound like questions I would ask. Not a single question was asked along the lines of, should we not be following federal law? Why aren't you, or at least turning criminals over to ICE? Why would you release violent criminals into our neighborhoods? Why are you promoting the very behavior that is getting protesters killed and ICE agents injured? Why is it only happening in Minnesota? Why aren't Minnesota police protecting ICE agents? And again, we see violence from the agitators and no arrest. Why is that? Refusing to arrest those breaking the law will only encourage more lawlessness, won't it? No! Not a single question like that. The CNN town hall is a joke. They stack the audience with Democrat donors and liberal activists. For example, this person, Sofia Karanikas. Got to be careful of that name. Law student at the University of Minnesota. Well, she's a Democrat contributor through Act Blue. So here's how CNN far left anchor Anderson Cooper presented his rigged town hall to his dozens of viewers. To get that, to his dozens of viewers. Good morning, Special Can has it on my list of favorite Canadians and unacceptable views, my other favorite Canadian, and Lord Stanhope too. So let's see. Okay, wait a minute. So here's just a result. A loaded, rigged left-wing questions. Mac Randolph, son of patient of Alex Padilla, probably meant Alex Pretty. Of Alex Pretty. This is someone who is a patient of Alex Pretty. Is there any transparency from the feds on a timeline when their operations would be satisfied, and they would conclude, or is it just the new reality? Someone named Sofia Karanikas, she's a law student at the University of Minnesota and also a Democrat donor. So what do you have to say to those who are arguably the majority who feels that harsh words and public statements are not enough to address this crisis? Kathy Schweikert, a retiree. Mayor Frey, can you explain what it means to be a sanctuary city, why Minneapolis is a sanctuary city, and why you believe it being a sanctuary city makes Minneapolis a safer place? Oh my God. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at that question. Minira Alamer, law student. Mayor Frey, what material commitments are you making to community members, our community members who have been harmed, detained, or have had their loved ones brutalized? Anthony Banks, law student, University of Minnesota. When your officers are prevented from inspecting crime scenes that exist in your jurisdiction by ICE agents, how does that change your mentality going forward when dealing with ICE? And can Minnesota residents expect police to be more directive, placed in similar scenarios, not now knowing ICE may try to prevent them from doing their jobs? I think their jobs would have been to stop people from standing in the middle of the street. I don't know. Dana Jabs, retired police officer. As a retired police officer, the spouse of a retired police officer, the granddaughter of a retired police chief, daughter of a police officer, mother of children in law enforcement, I fear the president is putting local law enforcement in situations that force them to choose between a career that they love or having to defend the chaos the president is sending to our cities. Have you talked to your officers? All that preface to ask, Mayor Frey, have you talked to your officers? Anyway, there's a whole lot more. I may have to go watch that town hall now. I'm embarrassed that they even had it. Okay, moving on. They're going to be mad at Meta. They're going to be mad at Meta, aka Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and all whatever other crap Meta does. Meta is going to block Facebook, Instagram users from linking ICE list that docks federal agents. My God! They're actually doing something right! Mark Zuckerberg's Meta technology company has restricted the ability of users to share links to a website known as the ICE list across Facebook, Instagram, and Threads, confirming this week that the site violates the company's privacy policies. The ICE list database claims to publish identifying information on thousands of U.S. immigration and customs enforcement agents and other federal law enforcement personnel. Meta spokesman Andy Stone said the company acted under its community standards on privacy, which prohibit the sharing or solicitation of personally identifiable information. Those rules, he said, apply regardless of the political context surrounding the content. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. Now, Dominic Skinner, the founder of the ICE List website, has previously described his database project as a way to hold ICE agents accountable for alleged abuses of power. If there's a policy violation, we are the only one flagged, despite other sites sharing more, he said. I don't know what that means. And then the Trump administration has taken the opposite view, characterizing the database as doxing and warning that publishing agents' identities could endanger law enforcement officers and their families. So good. Meta did something right. Good morning, Kay Show. What up, Kirsten? How you doing? And Ms. Wild Wolf. Nice to have you all here. All right, so that's cool. By the way, let me go back and talk about Kristi Noem for a moment here. There's a couple reasons why I think she should be fired. One, because her coming out and making statements about both the killings of Renee Good and Alex, whatever his name is, Pretty, first of all, were wildly premature, made statements that were clearly false. And I don't know what the hell she was thinking, other than, she wants to get ahead of it, but she got incorrect information. And she needed to come out and say what any top official in law enforcement would say when there's something like that going on. We will give you details after our investigation. That's the only thing she needed to come out and say. We understand the situation is very volatile. We will come out when we have a full investigation and give you the full story. Because we don't know everything right now. And of course, people are out there videotaping and shit, right? So she should have just shut the fuck up. I already said that the other day. Also, she does her little photo ops really bug the shit out of me. You know, for example, this is the most recent one. Now, some people are saying she's pointing the gun at someone's head, but she's not. This is, but what's the point of this photo that they just had put out and she's talking and whatever? What's the point of this photo? Kristi Noem's not going out on ICE raids with a gun. What is the point of this photo? It's dumb. Here, let me see this. And they're saying that she doesn't have to point at him, she's pointing in front of him. Hot chicks with guns is the point. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, she looks good for 50, whatever she is, 56, 57. How old is she? She's almost my age. I mean, she's old. And, you know, she looks pretty good for her age. Of course, a lot of it's enhanced, to say the least. But anyway, here's the video that they did. And tell me what the point of this is.
Here we are with Marco and Brian today. They're letting me roll with them. We're going to go out and pick up somebody who I think is got charges of human trafficking. We earlier had an op that swept up somebody who was wanted for murder. So okay, but yeah, you're going to ride with them. You're not going to be carrying a weapon. You're not serious. I need her to be more serious. Am I not aroused? No, I think no, I'm not. It's not one of these. Oh, Kristi, you're looking mighty fine with that gun pointed in the air. You can raid me anytime, baby. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm just not. Sorry, Midnight. I forget. You may not understand everything I do. I'm kind of weird sometimes. Anyway, PDawgKnight, no one is as old as you. Your handprints as a babe was done on cave walls. Well, you know what? Whatever. So, plus I think, and she does a lot of stupid stuff as far as I'm concerned. But I am curious though. Where are the feminists? Will they be outraged at this? Somebody at the New York Post put this on a cover. Iced Barbie. Kristi Noem replaced by Tom Homan to cool Minnesota tinderbox. He replaced the other dude. But anyway, Noem, a former member of Congress, former governor, now a member of the cabinet, and some dope in the newsroom think this was okay. Yeah, no. And also what Hakeem Jeffries said was not okay. That was stupid of him. But again, I'm just a guy on the internet. All right, quick, the main stories on X. Tim Walz ends his electoral commissions after welfare fraud scandals. We already talked about that yesterday. Interesting, though, journalist Liz Collins, she's from the Alpha News in Minnesota. They're kind of a independent journalistic adventure too, especially in Minnesota. And she was on Fox News talking about Governor Walz. Here's the clip from Fox.
Governor Walz, though, you'll notice, Jesse, careful to say that he will not run for public office again. However, Senator Amy Klobuchar could still appoint him to her Senate seat. Also interesting to note that Senator Klobuchar, in her announcement, did not.
I don't know if that would be a good move. I don't know if Amy Klobuchar wants that what do you call it? She don't want that smoke if that happens. But we'll see.
I mentioned President Trump today by name. She did say that she was going to root out fraud, but that's hard for many of us to believe. She's been a senator for nearly 20 years. She has been silent on the issue of Somali fraud in Minnesota.
Wait. Yeah, she hasn't said a word about it. I made that point the entire month of January. And all this stuff with the Nick Shirley stuff and whatever, and not a peep from any other Democrat in the Minnesota congressional Democrat delegation. Not a peep. None of them have mentioned it at all. Still to this day, until Amy Klobuchar put it in her announcement to run for governor.
So, Liz, are you saying there's a deal between Walz and Amy? She's going to appoint him to be a...
If she wins, that's the key. And she will win because it's Minnesota. I have no delusions about Minnesota. By the way, remember the other day, that guy who dropped out of the Minnesota governor's race? And I'm like, who the hell is that? I went back and watched that video. It's a 10-minute video, and it's actually pretty good. I don't agree with everything he said, but I was impressed by the guy. I wish I had known he was running because I'd have probably tried to learn more about him before he left the race. But he was polling at like 7%, and there's a couple bigger names in front of him. But I actually like the guy, and I wish he wouldn't. The things he was complaining about, it's better to complain about them as governor where you have something, can do something about it. But yeah, I'll put a link to his video too. I thought it was pretty good.
Senator?
Did they have a deal?
It is a possibility, and I thought the word choice in that interview last night was quite interesting. But here on the ground, I think police officers are feeling a bit relieved. I've been speaking to them through this whole process. Many of them couldn't do their jobs, especially in Minneapolis before, but Homan seems to have changed things here. We saw mass arrests in Minneapolis. That hasn't happened or been allowed to happen, I should say, in weeks. Instead, they're watching other agencies move.
Except it wasn't in Minneapolis. It was in Maple Grove. It's a western suburb.
Move in and do the job that they should be tasked to do. But again, kind of this manufactured crisis. I know you spoke about the fall of Minneapolis, which I appreciate, but so many of those same people in power, actually the exact same people, and we're seeing this all on repeat.
Okay, so anyway, you get the point there. So that's interesting. Tim Walz continues to publicly fantasize about starting another American Civil War, even calling Minneapolis the next Fort Sumter. Oh, did he call it that? Holy shit! I missed that. Here, let's see what Scott Jennings has to say about it.
He said today that he thought maybe this was like the next Fort Sumter. And when Governor Walz said that, and previously he had referenced the Battle of Gettysburg. And so when I hear that kind of language coming out of a governor, this sort of fantasizing about an American Civil War, first of all, I don't think he stopped to consider who that makes him in this entire endeavor. Jefferson Davis, spoiler alert. And number two, if you wanted more calm, if you wanted a little bit more cooperation, if you wanted to ratchet things down, you would not be referencing the first shots of the Civil War and maybe thinking that we're in the middle of another one. You agree or disagree?
We don't want to get into a debate about political rhetoric, I don't think, because...
What the fuck's rhetoric, you moron? Why wouldn't you get into a debate about political rhetoric? I bet you know what? You constantly talk about Trump's political rhetoric. Oh, maybe that's what she's saying. Well, you got to talk about political rhetoric because the right is so bad.
Because there's too much.
Do you like the Fort Sumter language?
I don't like it, but I don't like a lot of things that I hear in our political atmosphere. But I just constantly am baffled by when it is directed at conservatives, they suddenly want to clutch their little pearls. And then when they constantly egg and ramp up the...
So you do like it?
No, I don't like it at all. But what I'm saying is...
So are you clutching your own pearls?
No, what I'm saying is call it on both sides, which I'll never do. See, you only want to react.
But then,
because you want to pearl clutch on that side, but when your side doesn't...
I don't wear pearls.
You don't want to...
Are you clutching your own pearls?
I will clutch this necklace.
Can I give a concrete example?
Okay, that's a little banter I don't give a shit about. All right, moving on. Also, in the featured stories, Virginia residents are frustrated by surging bills and new tax proposals. So Virginia got their wish and had a full-on Democrat takeover of the Virginia government between the legislature and their governor. And now they're proposing a shit ton of new taxes. After Abigail Spanberger became Virginia's first female governor on January 17th, with Democrats holding legislative majorities and a $2.7 billion surplus, residents are complaining about electricity bills doubling or tripling due to cold weather and approved tax rate hikes from inflation and data center demand. Democratic lawmakers introduced over 50 tax bills targeting gym memberships, dog grooming, deliveries, repairs, guns, ride shares, and more, plus pledged to rejoin a carbon program that could add hundreds to electric bills. Republicans call it a break from affordability promises, while the proposals remain in committee through late February amid growing backlash. Now, here's, let's see. Here's someone complaining. Let's see this one first. Come on.
I just got my energy bill for the month.
It's cold, isn't it?
Energy out of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
My bill has tripled.
Now, wait a minute. Real quick. Real quick. I can't blame Spamberger for this. She literally just got into office, right? And it's cold in Virginia when it's not normally cold. But anyway, let's see what this shit says.
Pay about $200, on a regular, $300 on a high note.
She probably has electric heat. That's probably
$621.
Woo! Ouch!
That's more than my car payment.
Ouch!
What the actual hell is going on? Yeah.
You don't live in Minnesota,
I just got my...
Although everyone here is in natural gas, so it's not that bad. But it's bad. I'm telling you, it's cold. It's been below zero every day so far for about most of this month. So anyway, breaking, Virginia residents are now panicking, and not even a full month into 2026. Their electricity bills are nearly tripling as they are being hit with new Democrat-approved energy rates, with one resident saying she is now paying $600 a month. So she may not be on electric heat. Their electric rates went up like crazy. And they've proposed 50 new tax hikes. So good luck, Virginia. No, Virginia, there will be no Santa Claus. All right, let's get into the main story real quick. The Great Virtual Winery by Ilhan Omar and her husband. So apparently, well, here, let's find the story. Where's the Steve Forbes story? Steve Forbes. Oh, I'm gonna skip that one. There's a story there. Let's find Steve. Also, someone named. Where the hell did the Forbes story go? Uh-oh. Did I accidentally close it? Well, let's start here. Steve Forbes, chairman and editor-in-chief of Forbes magazine, says that Ilhan Omar and her husband are running a money laundering operation. Ilhan Omar's husband's investment firm was looked into, and there's no record of them managing any money or no clients. Now, we've been talking a lot about how suddenly their net worth grew over the last couple of years from like about $1,000 to $30 million. Well, here's Steve Forbes talking about that, and then we'll kind of get into a couple things that are very odd.
Okay, that was far-left Congresswoman Ilhan Omar claiming the Justice Department and Congress probing her sudden skyrocketing wealth to $30 million in just 1 year, that they have a problem with her living the American dream. You heard her say the goddamn United States of America. We've got new questions on where she and her husband got all that money. Joining us now, Forbes media chair, editor-in-chief Steve Forbes. Steve, new information coming in, and
there's
Forbes
some explaining to do. Steve, take it away.
That the state of Delaware and Washington, D.C. canceled the registrations for Omar's husband's investment firm, Rose Lake, for not paying its back taxes. We saw it owed more than $400,000 to Delaware and nearly $1,800 to D.C. She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less than $1,000 a year before. How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. That's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started examining her finances and that of her husband. And so surprise, surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses, where they come in, she had under $1,000 of net worth, and her husband didn't have much, and suddenly now they're multimillionaires. Is there a money laundering operation here? And in terms of the firms themselves,
allegedly,
they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own, where did that come from? Where's the wine there? Nobody can seem to find it. So there's a lot of smelly stuff here.
We'll get to that.
And that's why in the American...
And not just the stuff that dude squirted on her.
dream. Her version of the American dream is the Al Capone version of the American dream, Tony Soprano version of the American dream, and that is steal it from the taxpayers. And so there's a lot of stuff here. And so when somebody cloaks themselves in the American dream, and so you have numbers like this from minus 1,000 to 30, 40 million, you know something is not right.
Yeah, she's all
right. So you get that. That's Steve Forbes talking about it. Let me move down here. Where is the? All right, let's start here. This is in Yahoo News. So, and again, it's a Fox News article, so the evil Fox News. 1 year, one chart, an eye-popping jump in Ilhan Omar's personal wealth. Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar's latest federal financial disclosures show millions of dollars in newly reported assets tied to her husband's businesses, representing a massive increase compared to previous year's listings. The disclosures filed as part of Congress's annual financial reporting requirements come as Omar has publicly denied being a millionaire, labeling such assertions ridiculous. Well, why did you file saying you were a millionaire? Despite those denials, the sudden appearance of these assets at high valuations has raised questions about her husband's business holdings and prompted President Donald Trump to call for a Department of Justice investigation into the couple's share of wealth. Omar's office did not immediately respond to Fox News Digital's for request for comment, which, you know, I mean, why should she? They're the enemy, according to her. Two of her husband's business ventures, a Santa Rosa, California-based winery and a Washington, D.C.-based venture capital firm, account for the bulk of the reported assets. Federal disclosure forms do not list the exact amounts, instead reporting assets in broad ranges. The figures shown in the chart below reflect a midpoint of those ranges for a comparison. The winery, listed as E. St. Croix LLC, saw its reported valuation jump from a range of $15,000 to $50,000 in 2023 to be between $1 million and $5 million the following year. Rose Lake Capital showed an even sharper increase, rising from a reported value between $1,000 and $1,000 in 2023 to an asset range of $5 million to $25 million in 2024. At the same time, Omar's disclosure lists outstanding debts, including student loans, auto payments, and credit card balances. So that's, and then there's, what's this down here? Hang on. On Monday, Trump said the Department of Justice would investigate her reported wealth, which he claimed totaled $44 million, which is, he didn't add very well. But the max out would be about $30 million, right? If you went between those ranges. But even the low end of the range would be, $6, $7 million. All right. Now, apparently this winery that you cannot order wine from, and in fact, now you cannot even find it. The winery's disappeared, literally gone from the internet, not just the internet, but also the Internet Archives. It's gone. Poof, boom, ding, bang, gone. Now, this is, who's writing this? David Strom. I've kept an eye on Ilhan Omar's rapid wealth gain story, but there's been a much to write about and so little hard data that I haven't gotten around to writing it. But now, you've likely heard about her rapid and rocket speed rise to wealth, although due to federal reporting requirements, the range within which her net worth is measured is millions of dollars, so no precise percentage increase is out there. But let's just say that the terms of rapid rises, Nancy Pelosi would be quite impressed. The commonly floated numbers are a rise from about $15,000 to a net worth of $30 million. A major part of that growth in wealth has been the rapid rise in the valuation of a sketchy winery from a few $1,000s to a whopping $5 to $15 million, despite having perhaps released very few wines and in recent years, none at all. Its location appears to be empty buildings, its wines are unavailable, and once attention was turned to its sketchy nature, all the information about it, poof, disappeared from the internet. So, and here's the thread, Mario Naufel's thread right here. Ilhan Omar's so-called $5 million winery vanishes without a trace. No license, no footprint, poof, just gone. Turns out, Ilhan Omar's successful winery doesn't even exist yet, reportedly jumped from $15,000 to $5 million in just 1 year. And apparently, Benny Johnson, who's a right-wing activist. Now, I'm going to say this is all allegedly. They may have missed something and it's there and they just were on the wrong website or whatever. But here, well, let's show the Newsmax story first, and they're right wing too. They have a let's just say they have a political bias. We'll admit that, but let's go. Here it is.
Another major asset she listed in her financial disclosure is this winery. What does a Somali know about wineryism? Okay, that was in 2023.
Because isn't alcohol halal? Just saying.
Great. That was worth, according to Ilhan Omar's own financial disclosure form, between $15,000 and $50,000. But on her financial affidavit from a year later, that same winery was listed at a value of between $1 and $5 million. Just real quick. Why does a Muslim own an alcohol company? I thought that wasn't a thing in Islam.
Yeah, that's my question.
Weird. Up until yesterday, Benny Johnson was able to find their supposed inventory bottles and all the things they had, their office location, and a bunch of other information on the business. But as of today, those sites
they're gone,
are totally shut down,
and not even archives.
Their website has been wiped off the internet. I'm talking
now. Who is it? There's somebody who's related to the Internet Archive people that had all of their information scrubbed too, and apparently you can go and request that they do that, and they're very left wing, by the way. And so, hello, Select Boy, by the way.
Yeah, boy.
And so I don't, I can't remember. It might have been Anna Sarkeesian. Isn't that her? Isn't it her family? So anyway, yeah, just disappeared. By the way, thank you, Tyre Alexander, Pope Tyre. Dropping $3 in the tip jar, and you are now the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Tyre says, I just heard that judge dismissed the death penalty for Luigi Mangione, the little shit murdered a man in cold blood, and he hath forfeit his right to exist and must stand before our Lord and be judged. We must expedite that meeting. Ooh. Yeah. Yes. I'm not going to read that twice because I don't know if I can get in trouble for that. Anyway, so yeah, it's disappeared.
Gone. The Wayback Machine, all these other crafty little archive sites, everything is gone. Like deleted the root service. I called my computer buddy Jim. He couldn't even find it.
Taylor Lorenz, that's right.
AR
Taylor Lorenz.
jargon bot machine for recovery. I don't even know, he was explaining it to me. He couldn't even find it, which is weird that a company that boasted an award-winning wine, the, quote, double gold winner in 2022 San Fran Chronicle competition, with a corporate value of up to $5 million, would just
poof,
vanish into thin air? They didn't sell it? Is it possible?
So you got the idea there. So there's a whole thread here from Betty Johnson talking about it, or Mario Narfol, excuse me. Let's see. Crack. Oh, I don't know. And this is another one. I think this picture's fake. That's got to be a fake picture because she's wearing the same outfit and has a picture next to this guy. I think it's fake. Oh God. Oh no. Stop. I just saw the picture anyway, E-Crew LLC, a California-based winery, is co-owned by Tim Minot, the husband of U.S. Representative Ilhan Mohar, and Will Haler. All search engines are showing several results all across the internet, including active points of sales. It has not been wiped off the net. You can't trust this Benny Johnson guy. His history speaks for itself. This is a screenshot from the Vino wine app of EST Crew. It looks like the old vintage is only vintage is 2019. Normally, you could buy the wine through the app, though various sellers through various sellers, but these don't seem to be available. So there seems to be some disparate views on whether or not you can find the place. There is no confusion. Grand Cru Custom Crush in Windsor, California, is not tied to the Omar Minot EST Crew LLC in any way. Online speculation has mixed up the two. Grand Cru is an ongoing working winery cooperative. EST Crew's last physical location was an industrial park in Santa Rosa. It was using the address of another crushing cooperative as its own. The building on the left is Grand Cru. The one on the right is home to Punch Down Cellars and a small church at the same address as E Street Crew, whatever. So maybe they had the other winery mixed up. Let's just say it's curiouser and curiouser. I'm just saying it's curious. It's curious that just disappeared. Gone. What happened to the winery? Where is it, Ilhan? So that story is developing, as is the Don Lemon story. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's just that time. Yes, it is. It's time. What time, do you ask? Ladies and gentlemen, your favorite time of the week. It's Friday Q&A. We got a lot of questions, man. We got a lot of questions. And most of them have that same avatar. Holy shit. Anyway, so it's Friday Q&A. We do this every week. We enjoy have a little fun asking questions that I may or may not be able to answer. And they may be serious or they may be completely stupid, but funny. And funny is always good when you need a little palate cleanser. And so Friday Q&A is our weekly palate cleanser to get away from all the negativity and unless of course the question's about something negative, but you know what I'm saying. So let's get started. First question on today's Friday Q&A comes from, well, shocker of shocker. Avocado Stiabli asks, depending on what neighborhood you live in, since you can get a DUI riding a horse, does that mean if you pass out drunk on your lawn and ants carry you off down the road, you could get a DUI for that? Well, it is a form of transportation, so I'm just saying you get the DUI for the ants carrying you away. Yes, sure. Avocado Stiabli asks, did you know that there are so many furries in IT? There is an unwritten rule that furry conventions cannot happen too close to one another out of fear if something went wrong, everything would shut off. No, I didn't know that, but now we all know that. Thank you, Avocado Stiabli. Avocado Stiabli asks, why was Fat Elvis the best Elvis? No. Come on now. Fat Elvis was not the best Elvis. Movie Elvis was the best Elvis. Fat Elvis, you know, it was funny and all, but movie Elvis was the best Elvis. Just saying. Avocado Stiabli asks, if you were in a car accident and thrown from the vehicle, at what distance would be considered leaving the scene of the accident? Well, if you got an accident on a mountain and you got thrown from the vehicle and landed on a different level of the mountain, that would be far enough. I'm just saying. Avocado Stiabli asks, did you see Dick, the appropriately named Dick Durbin, got up in front of the Senate and used that AI-generated photo of Alex Preddy and that agent's, the one with the headless agent, as if it were a photo of the actual event? Yes, and we did talk about that today. Avocado Stiabli asks, were you aware that Michael J. Fox is the anti-Elvis? He is the only human being who has no Elvis in him. I wonder how many humans have had Elvis in him. Or in them. I bet he got it. Never mind. Anyway, no, I did not know that. And so, perfect. That's good to know. Avocado Stiabli asks, oh, God. If your penis, yes, penis, developed the ability to speak, what do you think it would have to say? Oh, yeah. There's a lot of secrets I keep. I'm not telling you. I'm not even going to tell you. Avocado Stiabli asks, are there people who have an uvula fetish? Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's look, there's something for everybody. And if you like looking down people's throats, seeing that little thing hanging there, at least you're not driving my taxi because you wouldn't be able to see where you're going. Avocado Diablo asks, if you were in a terrible accident and your entire body were broken and destroyed and the only hopes was to transplant your brain into a Muppet, which Muppet would you want them to use? Oh, wow. That's a really good question. It depends, okay? So if they transferred would you say your brain, if they transferred your brain into a Muppet and still had the abilities of the Muppet, but you had your own thought process, I would say animal. That would be, because I'd be fun to be animal, right? But, hi, Lewis. Yes, we talked about Don Lemon being arrested. But otherwise, I think maybe Snuffleupagus. Oh, Super Grover. No, not Super Grover. Snuffleupagus. I just always thought Snuffleupagus was, when I was a kid, like until they finally figured out Snuffleupagus was real. I always liked Snuffleupagus because he could hide and no one would see him and shit. And, you know, he was really good at that. But I would even think of better ways to hide. Okay. I don't know what that means. Okay. Where am I at here? Okay, here we go. Avocados Diablo asks, if you have a dream that Molly Ringwald is giving you a prostate exam in the bed of a 57 Chevy pickup driving down Lower Wacker in Chicago, what does that mean? Okay, let me think about that. Molly Ringwald, prostate exam, 57 Chevy. Wait, what's a bed of a 50s? Oh, sorry, a 57 Chevy pickup. Okay, driving down Lower Wacker in Chicago. What does that mean? Well, clearly you went back to the future, and because you know, you finally stumped me. I don't know. I have no idea. That is such a weird question. Okay, let me ask you this. Today Molly Ringwald or 16 Candles Molly Ringwald? Because that's a problem if it's the latter, okay? Because, you know, by the way, she's aged well. Have you seen her in any movies lately? She's aged well. She looks good for Molly Ringwald at the age she's at. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, Lord Stanhope asks, don't you think Don Lemon would love prison? Perhaps, it's kind of that whole vibe would be his world a little bit. Although maybe, some of them are too greasy and ugly for him, but, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for Don Lemon. Lord Stanhope asks, how long after Don Lemon lives out his life in Oz will he embrace the persona of Madonna, Limona, sucks dick she will? The embrace of persona of Madonna, Limona, sucks dick she will. How long? Oh, how long? Well, no, forever, because he's already there, right? He's kind of already into that thing. Avocado Diablo asks, if you take an old Ford Pinto and replace the engine and gas tank with an electric motor and a massive battery, would you be more or less likely to explode when rear-ended? Oh, less likely, because, it might catch on fire, but it's not going to explode. That'd be kind of fun, though. Because look, if I was going to just make up a car, like a sleeper car, it would be, because I don't even remember what show this was on, but there was a sleeper car. They had a sleeper car. It was a Volkswagen Beetle. But they put a Porsche 911 turbo engine in it, and made the suspension whatever firm enough or whatever it needs to be to actually handle the power of a Porsche 911 turbo. And And I would dig that. I don't remember what the question is because I'm just thinking about having a Porsche 911 turbo engine in my Volkswagen Beetle. But that'd be a great sleeper car, right? You're riding down the road and some asshole's like, and you're like, just step on the gas and leave them. But anyway, the Ford Pinto with an electric motor, that'd be cool too because that'd be really fast. But I don't think it'd blow up. Unlikely to explode because the shit won't move. For that too. Anyway, Lord Stanhope asks, you're being chased down a street in your boxers with 100 horsepower Lovecraft clones armed with hammers. If you could have one thing to help, what would it be? Guns won't have bullets, cars won't have gas. Well, wait a minute. Why are you restricting what my weapons of choice would be and not the 100 HP Lovecraft clones armed with hammers? Why do they get what they want? Why don't I get what I want? What are you talking about? And look, it would be probably some photon torpedo like launcher like that would be cool. All right. Avocados Diablo asks, do you think we could genetically engineer people who have teeth in their colons and rid humanity of constipation? Ew. Ew. I don't. Ew. Ew. I'm just the thought of, because your teeth would be chewing on that. And, ew. Ew. Where are we at? Wait. This is another Dick Durbin question. Okay, here we go. Did you see that after the appropriately named Dick Durbin was asked about that AI photo, he replied, well, it's the first we were going to use that thumbnail of Adam Schiff, but that seemed too fake. So we went with it. You got me. That was good. That was like the best one I think you've ever done. Damn it. Avocado Stabby asks, if someone were to contract some sort of parasite, but that parasite were an endangered species, would they be allowed to kill it? Oh, like if it was like the snail dart or something, like a parasite of snail darters? Man, my body, my choice? I don't know. Maybe. I would think that you'd get a waiver at least. I mean, they wouldn't make it so to kill you. Could you imagine having a snail dart as a parasite in your body though? That'd be uncomfortable. Let's see. Who's the Avocado Diablo ask? If you could remove Don Lemon's head and attach it to any animal, what animal would you attach it to? Three-toed sloth. Easy. That's yeah. Three-toed sloth. Can't run, can't hide. And he wouldn't be able to, he'd be pissed because he wouldn't be able to get around very fast. It'd kind of suck. People be all smacking him in his head and shit, and he couldn't run away. Lord Stand-Up asks, in your honest opinion as a bartender, if you had to disperse a crowd of protesters, drug addicts, what method do you use? You can't use sewage projectors, headache gas, or giant screens showing scat. What? Oh, oh no. Was that supposed to be porn? Let's see, again, what was that? Disperse a crowd of protesters / drug addicts. What method do you use? Skunk army. Train skunks that have directional control of their funk. Train skunk. That'd be awesome because that'd fuck them up for a while. They'd be running and be like, I can't get it off me. Give me some tomato juice. That would work. The only problem with trained skunks, though, is you'd have to smell that for a while. As long as but can you imagine you had trained skunks that could just spray on whoever you tell them to? Oh, that would be really good. That'd be really good. Okay, let's see, where are we at? The Avocado Diablo says, come up with a punchline. Anne Frank, a herpes-ridden duck, and Ayatollah Khamenei walk up. Oh, I see. This is the joke. Hang on. Come up with a punchline. Anne Frank, a herpes-ridden duck, and Ayatollah Khamenei walk up to a falafel stand. And the falafel maker asks, Oh my God. Okay, I need help, chat. Come up with a punchline. Anne Frank, a herpes-ridden duck, and Ayatollah Khamenei walk up to a falafel stand, and the falafel maker asks, I don't know. Why a falafel stand? The falafel maker asks, how much for the duck? What's cooking? I don't know. Keep trying in the chat. I'm going to move on. Lord Stand Up asks, how old were you when you learned the dirty secret of waffles, that they are just textured pancakes? No, they're not. What are you talking about? The fuck? Don't try to tell me some bullshit. Avocados Diablo asks, if a sex tape of Nancy Pelosi and Doug made last month was leaked, would you watch it just for science? No. Nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody in there. Well, there's somebody who wants to see that shit, but for me, no. Oh, no. Oh, ugh. I need to put bleach in my eyes out just thinking about it. Holy, I don't need to see that shit. I don't want to see old people fucking. I just don't. I don't care who the old people are. I don't want to see that. Shut up, Tyre. Lord Stand-Up asks, what's the issue with adding bacon, ham, and cheddar to your oatmeal? Well, I don't know that there is. I mean, I've never would have thought of it. It's kind of like if you... I mean, if you're into savory stuff, it probably is not a bad idea. I never heard of anyone doing it, but, bacon, ham, and cheddar to your oatmeal. That's interesting. I don't know. Avocado Stabby asks, do you think you could engineer a tick that did not spread disease, would only bite people who were illegal, and had a tracking device in it that we could release in sanctuary cities? There's probably some nanotechnology that you could come up with. It wouldn't be like a living being tick. It'd be more like a little robot. But yeah, maybe someday we'll make a tick out of metal. It'll be so tiny, it'll just itch, and they won't know they're being tracked. I can't finish this song. Lord Stand-Up asks, is it true your first girlfriend was named Helen and she came from Troy? No. My first girlfriend was named Elizabeth and she came from Omaha. Avocado Stabby asks, when you go to the Ice Shack hookers for a blowjob and one of them has dentures, do you have her take them out or keep them in? And does that change the price? Well, you got to pay a little extra for labor for the dentures in and out, but, it's probably preferable if she's a biter. So there. Can't believe I even bothered asking that question. Lord Stand-Up asks, which member of government gives you the most chills when paired with the phrase, to have an intimate evening with? Any member of the United States Senate. God, that would be so fucking boring. They're all a bunch of windbags. Avocado Diablo asks, are you late yet? Not even close. I'm way ahead of time today. But don't add a bunch of more questions because I said that. Now I lost the fucking space. There we go. Lord Stand-Up asks, pudding. What wine would you pair with that? Well, probably a sparkling wine, maybe a Moscato or something, I mean, it depends on what kind of pudding is, but, like bread pudding, yeah, a nice Moscato, Avocado Diablo asks, would you rather take a bath in pepper spray or shave your balls with a sandblaster. Yeah, let's. Well, first of all, yeah, we don't shave in my age bracket, but yeah, I'm gonna say the pepper spray because holy shit. Selected Boy asks, what kind of dog is truly dangerous? Oh, there's plenty of dangerous. An untrained one. That's what. An untrained dog. That's probably the best answer I could come up with. You know, I mean, look, a well-trained pit bull, not dangerous. A poorly trained pit bull is dangerous. An untrained pit bull could be dangerous, but definitely an untrained pit bull or a poorly trained pit bull would be dangerous. Avocado asks, why does Ilhan Omar look less drowsy than the average Somali? Well, I hadn't thought of it. Does she look less drowsy or just she has a good skincare routine? I don't know. She's and she's like 50 years old too, isn't she? She looks like really young, but she's like 50. Siri, how old is Ilhan Omar? Oh no, she's 43. Okay, she's 43. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Probably because she's not drinking all that wine from her winery. That's probably why. Select a boy. Have you ever heard of an Apache scream? No. Is this something I need to look up? What am I going to find when I see this? Okay, there's a song. Oh, is that a war cry? An Apache war cry? Okay. No, I have not. I had never heard of that until you just said it. Okay. All right. See you later, Anon. 1, 2, 3. Have a great day. Where was I at? Simon Wilkins asks, why do we say terrible accident as if there's such thing as a wonderful accident? Or would that be an unintended event that works out in your favor? Yeah, look, a terrible accident is you run into into a tunnel that's too short and you get decapitated. That's a terrible accident. A good accident is that you the truck full of Hershey bars accidentally opens up and they're all over the road. That's a good accident because I love me some Hershey bars. So there you go. That works out in your favor. Lord Stanhope asks, what's for dinner? How will it impact his weekend? This is one time where we haven't really thought about dinner. I might cook up some fish though. We have some orange roughy in the freezer. Maybe I should thaw that shit out. Avocado Diablo asks, if you could, oh God, what is this going to say? If you could taste sounds, what would iron butterflies in Agata Davidas taste like? Taste sounds. What would it taste like? It would taste like it would take like garlic curly fries. I think that sound. Do you think garlic curly fries? Yeah, garlic curly fries. Simon Wilkins asks, did you catch my Rolling Stones reference about Don Lemon? Oh, I may not have. Put it in the regular chat, whatever it was. I didn't catch it. Peyote. It tastes like peyote. Select Boy asks, which states have the best and worst sports fan base? Ooh. Well, first of all, it would depend on what you would say best and worst are like the most radical, whacked out for fan base. I think I would say the Los Angeles teams probably would be the worst just because they ain't loyal. They're not loyal. And plus there's just too much to do in Los Angeles. So they're fickle. Let's put it that way. But Philly, they have the most dangerous fan base. Think about the Philadelphia teams and especially like the Eagles, but just think of between the Flyers, the Eagles, and the Phillies. Do they have and the 76ers? Oh, it's Philly. They're the worst by far. They're the worst. Never mind. Forget Los Angeles. Philly fans are scary. Lord Stanhope asks, are we there yet? No. Ms. Wildwolf asks, what do you think about the newest release of Erica Kirk's Zoom meeting? Oh, yeah, she just sounds too cheery. And maybe that's just how she is. But, the whole thing about how much money they made or how much revenue they brought in at the funeral and whatever. I don't know. Maybe she's just trying to live her best life now that her husband's gone. I don't know. I try not. I'm not getting into the gossipy part of it at all. And so I'm just trying to leave her be. She's got to deal with however she wants to deal with it. And who cares? Unless, she had something to do with it. Anyway, the punchline, is it your wedding night? Oh, for that joke. Oh God. Avocado Stiabli asks, how about now? Late yet? Nope. At Lord Stand Up, is that all? Nope. Simon Wilkins, if you could buy a spread, paste, or spray bottle of ground up insects called Bugger All, would you? What would I use it for? Bugger all. That's in some countries that's not even a good phrasing. I'm just telling you. No. Just no. Avocado Stiabli says, what do you call a prisoner taking a mud shot? Selfie. Avocado Stiabli. I asked why Omar looks less downsy, not drowsy. Oh, did I read it wrong? Maybe it's been a while since her bloodline repeated, so to speak. Maybe it's been a while. Avocado Stiabli asks, what do you call birds that stick together? Velcros. Why isn't that? Avocado Stiabli, pointless, toad, empty. Are you early? I don't know what that means. And finally, we're going to end this now. Avocado, there's two more questions. There's one question and one statement. Avocado Stiabli asks, if you were a serial killer and you had an 80s themed soundtrack you used while killing and disposing of bodies, which Whitney Houston song would you include on it? Oh, absolutely, Somebody Who Loves Me. That'd be really, you'd have to be on there. And then the other one, I get so emotional that those two would be on it. Lord Stand-Up says, seriously, what does the hurting ever stop? I don't know what that means. Avocado Stiabli, no, you cannot. If you woke up one morning and your toes had alternately grown 5 times or shrunk 5 times, what would you do? I would walk funny, and I'm not even asking the rest. That's it. That's it for, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of Friday Q&A. Because I said so. Why not? Because it's my show. Damn it. All right, guys. That was fun. Friday Q&A is over. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I've actually done at a decent time today for a rarity, probably because I started at a decent time. I would say definitely go check out the aggregator, though. Some of the headlines in the aggregator today: Hillary Clinton fundraises for Minneapolis rioters. Oh yeah. Too many Democrats want us dead. Watch Democrat make TSA for ICE protest their dinner. Oh, what? Wednesday night demonstration follows weeks of anti-ICE agitators confronting federal law enforcement agents in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. I'm going to actually open that one up. They probably were protesting. ICE agitators targeted 2 drinking dinner at a restaurant in Linwood, California, Wednesday evening. prompting the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office to be called and engaged in crowd control. The 2 TSA agents were mistakenly identified by unknown individuals as U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement officers. You know what? I think, oh my gosh, I need to get just a dark colored windbreaker-like jacket and go sit in a restaurant and eat somewhere and see if someone fucking tries to pull that shit with me. I've been kind of hoping to get pulled over by ICE too, both ways, either the protesters or ICE, and tell both of them to fuck off if they mess with me. But other things, Susan Collins says ICE has ended enhanced operations in Maine. Holman's presser sheds light on Trump's administration shift to Minneapolis. Senate strikes deal to fund the government. We already did that. Let's see. Oh, Greenies and Democrats at each other's throats as climate change talking point evaporates. Oh, interesting. Walls quits. We already got that. And let's see. Behind this. Oh, Canada's euthanasia program is turning into an organ harvesting nightmare. Uh-oh. Yeah, Canadians, what's up with, there were weren't there 15,000 of those assisted suicides last year? What's going on? I suppose it's cheaper than keeping people alive long enough, but still, that's gross. Anyway, check it out. I hope you have a great day, everybody, and a great weekend. That's it. I got to go. Thank you for joining me this week, and we'll be back Monday at our normal time, around 10 o'clock Eastern. Watch for little short videos coming up. I might work on some actual videos this week other than just putting clips from the show, too, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to try to do that on the regular. Share those as often as you can if you see them. Because I want to grow the channel. I'm actually making a full-on effort to grow the channel. That's it. Got to go. Thank you. My name's Dawg Knight. I'm out of here. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.